And welcome into Getting Help from Uncle Sam. You know, in the state of Alabama, if you think about it from an industrial standpoint, top of the mind, we think about automobiles. Yes, we're blessed because we do manufacture quite a few automobiles in the state, but agriculture is #1 in the state of Alabama. And today I have with me Rick Pate. And Rick, you are running for the Commissioner of Agriculture and Industries for the state of Alabama. That's a whole load of stuff on the plate, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You know, like you mentioned, agriculture and related industries is such a huge part of Alabama economy, and so you don't see it as much in Birmingham sometime or Jefferson County, but yeah, you get outside the metropolitan areas, and agriculture is a lot of times the hub and backbone of keeping the grocery stores there, keeping the banks there, and you know, it's I think a $70 billion industry employing 600,000 to 700,000 people. Yeah, it's huge, and yeah, we've got to do what we can to make sure small farmers, big farmers can stay in business. Because yeah, it's I know when you know, you talk about national security, but yeah, being able to feed and provide our people is of utmost importance, and we need to maintain that ability.
And you've got a farming background, don't you?
Right, I grew up in Lowndes County in the town of Lounsboro, actually on a farm about 5 miles from town of Lounsboro. And my dad was in the cattle business in addition to being in the National Guard and having a rural mail route. But yeah, I tell people I don't ever remember a time I couldn't look out my window and see cows, or couldn't lift the window and smell chicken litter. We had 4 chicken houses, and
my goodness.
And yeah, we were able. My dad was able to send us to school with the farm, and yeah, I actually got an ag degree in ornamental horticulture, and so I have 50 head of cattle. My dad passed away about 6 years ago, and so I took over. He was really a leader in genetics and breeding of cattle, and so I think he's in every Hall of Fame, ag Hall of Fame in the state. And anyway, I've kept that bloodline going in addition to my business.
So that's a nice thing you bring to the table as a candidate, is the fact that you've walked the walk.
Yeah, and I've seen, you know, part of when I got into this, I told somebody, I said, you know, I've never mind paying my taxes. It's just the overregulation of business. And you know, I know when Trump went in, he said he was going to remove 2 regulations for every one that got put in place. I don't know that you could remove 5 for every one. And so obviously we got major responsibility protecting the food supply, making sure things are safe, and we do a great job. We've got the safest food supply in the history of mankind, and we want to continue that. But yeah, I think the government certainly could be a partner more to business that are trying to add employees, trying to grow, trying to pay more tax. Even me, every 4 or 5 years, I ought to give you an attaboy, thanks for what you're doing, rather than being a stumbling block.
That's the truth. Now, also in this job, you're going to be regulating gasoline stations. That seems unusual, but if you pull up to a pump, there's usually a little state of Alabama sticker on there saying that it's been regulated by the department of your department.
Right, and people don't realize. Somebody told me one day, said, "Well, you ought to call your Office of Consumer Protection," because I don't like that, but it's really true.
Yes.
To make sure you're treated fairly in almost every transaction, anything that's weighed or measured, whether that's the gas pumps, whether that's the scales at the grocery store, whether that's you're getting 6 tons of sand and gravel, everything that's weighed and measured, we have to make sure that you're being treated fairly. And we've got lots of other responsibilities in labs and things to make, and they're there to make sure whatever's on that bag, if it's a bag of seed and it says it's 97% wheat and 3% this, and you plant it in good faith, and it turns out it's 50% weeds and 50%, then we'd be who would pull that product off the shelf and look at it and see if it was something you did or actually you sold something incorrectly. Yeah, lots of responsibility.
Well, that's and is that department a pretty big department here in the state right now?
Yeah, I think they currently have about 300 employees.
That's
I don't know
good
how that
size.
relates to other, but yeah, the problem, they've got tremendous responsibility.
Sure, all the way across the state.
All the way across the state, and so, you know, you just, all the things you don't think about, like if a nursery plant is being shipped to Mississippi or Texas, well, they don't want our fire ants, not, well, I'll just use fire as an example, they might have fire ants.
Sure, absolutely.
But so, Department of Ag has to put a a note in that with that trucking company saying that we verified these products are coming out. They don't have these diseases. They don't have fire ants in the soil. And before they can cross the state line, and Mississippi will let them travel through there. Certainly to be so it's lots of things like that that people would never anticipate. And you know, and some of the, like I said, with 300 employees, it's already been slashed. I think when Commissioner McMillan went in, they had 400. And so the general fund appropriations already been cut in half. So I'm certainly not thinking I'm going in with any sort of slash and burn mentality that is fat and a lot of people need to be terminated. That's not the case.
No, but you're going to look at it from a business perspective.
Yeah, well, that's all I know.
To get the job done.
Yeah.
Okay, Rick, if some of our viewers want to get in touch with you to talk a little bit more about your campaign and what your objectives are going to be, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, that's real simple, just rickpate.com.
rickpate.com. That is simple.
And then there's a little video
RICKPATE.
Right.
We're putting that on the screen also.
And then, of course, obviously, we'd love for you to go to our Facebook page, Rick Pate for Ag Commissioner, and like and share that. And, you know, a race like this, we're not going to raise the millions of dollars that some of these races run.
No.
And so all those free social media things is you try your best to push stuff out.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah, but we've been real blessed.
Good.
We've gotten lots of endorsements, most of the ag groups, the Farmers Federation, the Cattlemen, the Forestry, and so we've been real blessed to be an outsider and to have the support we have.
Well, you're an outsider politically, but you're an insider. You got the job done. And thank you so much for that. And just remember this, the election is on the 17th, or the runoff election, again, is on the 17th. Make sure you either vote or, more importantly, absentee vote if you have the opportunity to do it. If you happen to be on vacation, and do your homework, check with all the candidates. And we'll be right back right after this.